Hi guys, good morning and welcome to Innovative Educations. Today we are going to see how we can run Linux subsystem on Windows. Basically we require VMware and a lot of virtual machines and VirtualBox, but I'll show the easiest way you can run your Linux onto a Windows machine. So let's get started. Firstly, we will go to the browser. As we can see, we are on the page right now, that is Windows subsystem for Linux installation and guide. In that we will be using PowerShell to enter few commands to easily set up our machine first to use Linux. So let's just copy the command right here, that is dism.exe online. So we'll just copy out here. Let's go and open up the PowerShell. PowerShell, and we will run this as an administrator because we require the administrator rights. So once inside the PowerShell, what we are going to do is we are going to just paste that command, basically Control V and press enter. So once we do that, once we press enter, the system in the background will start doing some of its work and it will enable the features. As you can see, there will be a countdown over here which will be enabling the features for us. Once this is done, we have to proceed to the next step where we activate the WSL. The WSL1 is already installed, but we require to use WSL2 to enable the virtual machine platform on a Windows 10 machine, which in further scenarios helps us to easily navigate through Linux. So what we are going to do is we are just going to go ahead and copy this command right now, go back to PowerShell and just paste it over there and press enter again. Now as you can see, it is the same process that earlier, but it is enabling a feature that is virtual machine right now rather than Microsoft Windows subsystem. Once done with that, we are going to set the WSL2 as a default version for the Linux. So we can copy this, go back to PowerShell and then we are just going to paste it again. That's it. As we enter, this is the final thing that you get, and now we are set to install Linux on our system. So now what we are going to do is we are going to just go ahead and go into Microsoft Store, search for Linux, and we have various flavor, but we are going to install Ubuntu over here. So let the page load. Once the page loads, just click on get, and now as you wait, it will start downloading the current version of Ubuntu that you have selected. When you click on install, it starts downloading the version and it goes somewhere around 400 MB. So now my Ubuntu system has been downloaded, so we can go and start and check out Ubuntu. So now initially it will take some time to install all the components that we have created. So it is installing, and the main part here is we will be getting a command line version, not the GUI based version. And if we require a GUI based version, let me know in the comment section, and I will be able to provide you another video in which we can enable the GUI using VNC or a no VNC. So let's wait for this to install. Okay, so now it's installed and it's asking me for the Unix username. So you can enter whatever username you feel like as your name, your nickname, whatever you want to use. I'm going to just use a channel name. Let's use a short one, edu. Yeah, so it's an Innovative Education. Enter whatever password you want to set. You can set the password. That's it. Our system has been updated. Now the first thing we do is we use a sudo command. We use the apt-get, there's a hyphen get, and we update. And then we press enter. What this command basically does is it updates the repository that requires for the application to be installed, and when we press enter, it will list down all the new repositories that Ubuntu server has provided. Now you can see here, when we use sudo command, it asks for password because sudo means super user do. Okay, so when we are a super user, that's we are a root user, we are asking for a root permission to make changes to to this system. So once we get the right to make changes to this system, we are just easily going, it will easily update all these things. And now we are going to do a very simple task. We are going to install Apache server on our Ubuntu machine using our terminal. So once we are done with this, we are just going to clear this everything. We got a fresh screen, so we are going to write clear. Okay, we got a real clear prompt now. Now we are going to just go ahead and write sudo. Now we have done apt-get, so we will be using sudo apt install Apache 2. So we are going to use Apache 2. Enter. And that's it. It is going to, it will ask you if you want to install. Press yes, enter, and it will start downloading it. Now this will depend on your internet speed. Mine is done in few seconds. Some may take a lot more time. So once this setup is done, okay, we are almost done with the setup. Okay, let's now just check out if our Apache server is running properly or no. So we are going to write sudo service. So we are going to start the service here for Apache 2. In other Linux distribution, this step is not required, but in Ubuntu this step is required. We need to write sudo service Apache 2 start. This will start our Apache server. Once the Apache server is started, we can go to any browser in Windows. I'll be using Edge over here, so I'll be going to Microsoft Edge. And I'll just write down here localhost. So we are going to use localhost to test it. So just type in your search bar localhost and it will display our Ubuntu Apache server's default server page. Okay, so system has been acting out. Okay, so we are going to write down just localhost. That will be without space. I'm sorry. Enter. So now we get Apache 2 Ubuntu default page. Now this shows that our Apache server has been set properly and we have done everything properly. Now the final thing that we want to close this terminal, we will just write exit and press enter. That's it, guys. Please like, subscribe and share this channel for more videos, and do write in the comments if you have any queries.